We begin with the reading of the Gospel, and so the Lord be with you and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. On the first day of the week, at the first sign of dawn, the women went to the tomb with the spices they had prepared. They found the stone had been rolled away from the tomb, but on entering, they discovered that the body of the Lord Jesus was not there. As they stood there, not knowing what to think, two men in brilliant clothes suddenly appeared at their side. Terrified, the women lowered their eyes. But the two men said to them, "Why look among the dead for someone who is alive? He is not here. He has risen. Remember what he told you when he was still in Galilee, that the Son of Man was to be handed over into the power of sinful men and be crucified and rise again on the third day." And they remembered his words. When the women returned from the tomb, they told all this to the 11 and to all the others. The women were Mary of Magdala, Joanna, Mary the mother of James. The other women with them also told the apostles, but this story seemed to them pure nonsense, and they did not believe them. Peter, however, went running to the tomb. He bent down and saw the binding cloths, but nothing else. He then went home, amazed at what had happened. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. The Gospel we've just listened to tells us that the women came to the tomb at daybreak, because we followers of Christ have the luxury of celebrating Easter on Sunday, a day of rest. We assume that these women had the same luxury, but they didn't. They were coming at such an early hour because it was a working day. The Jewish Sabbath was over, and soon the city would be waking up, and the noise of traffic, business, commerce, and 1,000 other activities of daily life would resume. So they came before work. As the city was gearing up for another day, they were told the startling news that Jesus Christ had risen from the grave. Something unimaginable had happened. The crucified one, the one they had buried 3 days earlier, was alive in a new and powerful way. He'd foretold that this would happen, but it hadn't sunk in as yet. Only over time would they grasp the full meaning of the resurrection, that death had been overcome and life, new life, was open to everyone. To people who faced the grave as the end of everything, death as the final barrier to all human hopes was now broken. To people who were never sure that their prayers really reached God, the way to the Father was restored. To people who knew the guilt of sin was heaping up in their lives, Jesus rising from the dead brought forgiveness and release. All this happened as Jerusalem went about another workday, not yet aware that something profound had changed in the universe. Easter Sunday is a magnificent Sunday in the church's year. It's in fact the greatest of Sundays. The crowds that come to church this day tend to be larger than normal. The decorations are more abundant and beautiful. The choirs and musicians strive to excel themselves in bringing God praise. For this is the core mystery of our Christian faith, the resurrection of Jesus from the dead. What is so exciting about Easter is that because Christ is risen, resurrection can happen in our lives, here and now. It may be Good Friday in our life, but Jesus' resurrection means that Sunday is coming. In our gathering today, we are celebrating not only the resurrection of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, but also the baptismal access all of us now have to the risen Lord today. Like Jerusalem on that first Easter, tomorrow morning the world will go about its business as usual. But embedded all over the world are millions of people who live a deeper truth than this world knows. They have died and risen in baptism. They have been christened or made part of Christ's mission. In a world where so many people are looking for the way, searching for the truth, yearning for a significant life, we have Jesus who is the way, the truth, and the life for everyone. The resurrection of Jesus shows us that salvation is not a dream, but a reality. It teaches us that heaven is not like an elusive phantom rising in the mist, but a life in which we can share even now as Christ comes to dwell in us. The resurrection teaches us that beyond the darkness there is light. Beyond death there is life. And beyond sin there is forgiveness. When we affirm and experience the truth of Easter in the sacramental journey of the Church, things change. It changes how we face living and even how we face dying. It gives us a new hope, a new life, now because of Easter. The risen Christ is still going about doing good and brings healing to all those oppressed by the evil one. Because of baptism, we are part of that ongoing and glorious mission. We have reason for living and the assurance of a life that will not end. What more do we need?